How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be recapping UFC Kansas City, Machado Gary versus Prates. Wrapped up yesterday. I wasn't able to record my recap because it was like 12:50 in the morning, and I don't really feel like staying up that late to recap the card. I did decent on picks. I went 10-4. I almost swept the prelims. I think my worst performance was on the main card, including the main event, which I did get wrong. Speaking of the main event, let's get right into it. Ian Machado Gary versus Carlos Prates. Man, this is a weird fight to break down, but let's just get right into it. Ian Gary clearly won rounds 1, 2, and 3. Very clearly won these rounds. It was mostly due to this right here. Carlos threw 17 strikes in the first round, and listen, he had some like decent percentage. Did shoot under 50% on 16 strikes. And in round 2, I think he only threw like 20, 22. Yeah. And then round 3, he threw only 20. Very just weird low output game from Carlos Prates early on to then possibly win round 4. I know this doesn't really look like it, but if you watch the round, he bloodied up Ian Gary, was stalking him in the last couple moments, was landing some of his best shots of the fight. And then round 5 is his round as well. But let's just break this down, man. Some key takeaways from this fight. 1, Carlos Prates, his takedown defense is not as bad as a lot of people think it is. He defended 15 takedowns from Ian Gary very well, and even when he did get taken down, he didn't really allow himself to get controlled too much, I'd say. I think there was probably, for Ian Gary, probably 3 minutes of control time in this fight, maybe. Even at that, he defended takedowns very well, and also his cardio isn't really that big of a problem as many people thought it would be. He actually did his best work in rounds 4 and 5. And he started doing better in round 3 as well. But man, some bad takeaways from this fight were Ian Gary was too quick for Carlos very early on. He was jabbing his face off at any opportunity given. And 2, Carlos is very predictable when it comes down to the nitty-gritty analysis of his game. Ian Gary called it out pretty well, I'd say, in the lead up to this fight, stating that Carlos really only has a left hand, a left kick, and a left knee, which he didn't really use his knees all that much. He threw like 3, and one of them almost knocked Ian Gary out, honestly. Not true, but I'm coping a little bit. He threw it in like round 4, I want to say. It landed like on the chest area, and he caught him when Ian was ducking down to go for a takedown, and he threw it really hard. But yeah, he didn't really do much in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Carlos seemed very patient, very like he wanted to go 5 for some reason, you know what I mean? Instead of going full pedal in like round 2. He started throwing with some conviction in round 3, which I thought was a very dumb game plan. It still is to the day. Ian just looked very good, very fluent on the feet early on, worked his game perfectly well, I'd say, used the jab to intercept Carlos when he's entering in, because he does have a tendency to drop his hand when entering in. Kind of enter a stalking mode. Ian Gary really utilized high kicks and to kind of give warning to Carlos of entering in. That's something we see Ian Gary do a lot, is using his kicks, because he has very long legs for his build, to dissuade or try and make fighters scared of entering in on him, which it seemingly worked incredibly well on Carlos Prates. Kicks to the head. None of them landed flush. They were all caught on Carlos's guard, but those still hurt a lot. Stabby kicks to the knee, kind of, again, keeping him at bay. And then he threw a couple teep kicks as well to kind of just sway him from entering in again. He did very good at maintaining distance. And I will say this, a lot of people are blaming Ian Gary for the entertainment value of this fight. I think that's kind of bullshit. I think really the fight was boring in the first 3 rounds due to Carlos. In a shocking way, Carlos did throw absolutely nothing in the first 3 rounds. Round 3, he threw some very good body kicks. Besides that, really landed nothing outside of like one jab, I think. And that might have actually been in round 4 when he started landing his hard jabs. If anything, Ian Gary actually had the most entertaining moment in the first 3 rounds when he rocked Carlos. I think it was either round 3 or 2. He landed like a shovel uppercut through the guard of Carlos and had him stumbling backwards and was catching him on the guard afterwards. Just very good performance from Ian Gary through and through outside of round 4 and 5, where Carlos did some of his best work, almost getting finished in the 5th round, which Carlos, he probably was like maybe 8 strikes away from getting a finish, possibly. But he was too tired in the 5th to actually get the finish. He was very, like, Cheeto Vera maxing a little bit, where he's, like, holding back from landing because he's searching for, like, the perfect punch, when in reality, people need to realize that all you really need to do is rabbit punch and you get a finish. We actually saw that earlier on the card as well. Yeah, just very good win for Ian Gary. What's next for either of these guys? I think Ian Gary still has holes in his game. I still do believe that a Joaquin Buckley would be a terrible matchup for him. I think that Shavkat and Sean Brady, I think Shavkat would beat him in a rematch. I think Sean Brady would beat him. I think he would sub Ian. But I think Ian Gary's next matchup should be a Leon Edwards type matchup. Possibly book it for a pay-per-view, maybe 3 rounds. I don't really want to see that for 5, if I'm being honest, but it probably will be a main event. Because I think, honestly, the rest of the top 6, or top 7 if you include Bilal, are very hard matchups for Ian Gary, just because I don't really like his finishing potential all that much. And also, he really tries hard to mix in grappling against guys, even like Shavkat he tried. If he does that against Sean, right, or Joaquin Buckley, he's going to put himself in terrible positions and lead to himself either getting finished or losing a round. I think Leon Edwards is unironically the safest matchup for him, because I think Kamaru, if he loses to Joaquin, retires. So that's going to be something to watch. But I think Ian Gary can beat Leon Edwards, and I think he actually beats him decently easily, if I'm being honest. Leon Edwards really doesn't show anything to me anymore as a championship level fighter. Very hesitant to throw anything with conviction as well. Carlos, you could very easily book him again against Jeff Neal. I think that's a fight that everyone still wants to see. I think that 3 rounds would allow Carlos to actually land his better shots, get going earlier, and I think Jeff doesn't have the arm reach of Ian Gary. He's also smaller, which we've seen Carlos do well against smaller opponents. I think that'd be a much easier matchup for him than the Ian Gary fight was. Still, Carlos showed some improvements in the holes that we thought. He proved that he doesn't have terrible cardio. He proved that his takedown defense is actually decent. It's just some IQ that we need to work on for him a little bit. Let's move to the co-main event, Anthony Smith versus Zhang Mingyang. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Zhang finished him in the 1st round. There's nothing really to break down here. Literally all it was Anthony kind of plotting at range, not throwing anything. He landed a couple good elbows, but Zhang at one point led with an elbow, like Ozzy Diaz, like the Ozzy Diaz fight where he led in with a step-in elbow and opened up a brutal cut on top of Anthony Smith's head, immediately leading to Anthony Smith pawing at his eye, going like, oh my god, I can't fucking see, and then like shooting a failed takedown and then getting finished. Brutal finish, for Zhang Mingyang, but I don't think this really proves anything, if I'm being totally honest with you. He finished Anthony Smith better than some guys have done. I think this is the first time Anthony Smith has been finished in a 1st round, actually in a while, right? I mean, when was the last time he got finished in the 1st round? I don't even know. Has he ever been finished in the 1st in the UFC? I don't think so. Oh, his fucking debut back in 2013 when he got cut afterwards. That doesn't really count though. It's fucking. So I guess that is a better performance than most people have against Anthony Smith. But still, Anthony Smith is, like I said, geriatric. Didn't really look like he wanted to be there after one hard shot landed from Zhang. Yeah, just kind of brutal finish. Anthony Smith retires, gets a retirement package video for him. Good for him. Zhang called out Yuri, you're smoking crack, buddy. The best that you're going to get is fucking. I don't even know, really. Maybe Nikita Krylov. Maybe they do Nikita Krylov versus Zhang Mingyang, or maybe like a Bogdan Guskov. Maybe they do that. Or they're gonna like John Silva him and throw him above like three guys and put him at number 13 for some reason. And then try and lay him up with like a not lay up, but like try and put him over a couple guys by giving him like Volkan Oezdemir or something like that. I don't know. I think Zhang Mingyang, he has great finishing potential, but I do see him probably getting chinned eventually, like decently soon. Very good though. We move to the featured fight: Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Not how I expected. Like, I knew David would possibly wrestle, but I didn't expect him to actually like fully be able to do it. Because Giga, I imagine that one of the only things he has been working on recently in his MMA career has been his grappling. But seemingly he just is not able to get up off his back. Round one, very clearly Giga Chikadze. They both kind of hurt each other, but Giga's was way worse than David Onama. Like David Onama was doing the chicken dance, and in moments, and then Giga just gave up his back. I guess it was so stupid. Round two was David Onama's. David Onama got a takedown relatively early and then held him down for the entire round. Was landing some decent stuff on the feet as well. Round three was actually really close. I think you can make an argument for Giga Chikadze, but after the round ended, I knew they were going to give it to David Onama. Like I said, you can make an argument on damage that Giga won the third round, but they didn't go with that. They went with control, because he did take him down with like 2 minutes to go and held him down for the rest of the round. They clashed heads on the last takedown attempt, by the way, which was kind of weird. But David Onama, top 12 at featherweight. I never expected him to get this far. Honestly, this is probably one of the weirdest ranked contenders I've seen in recent memory. They're probably going to give him like Josh Emmett next. And I think he probably gets chinned by Josh. I think Josh Emmett would probably chin David Onama. But yeah, David Onama, all right performance. Had to kind of stink it up a little bit near the end to get the win. But I don't blame him. If you have to stink it up to get a win, you're going to do that, especially if it's to get into the rankings. But yeah, I don't really see him going too far, rather. I don't see him going far at all. Yeah, I think he loses to like a Josh Emmett. I don't really see David Onama doing much in this division. We move to Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Listen, man, Michel might have AIDS. Like, this is genuinely a conversation we might need to have now. This was one of the worst performances from him I've ever seen. And it was still competitive. Like, it was still competitive. I gave Michel round 2. Round 3, Abus stole it because he rocked Michel like 3 times. Round 1, very clearly Abus Magomedov. He actually slammed Michel at a point. This was one of the worst fights. Probably the most boring fight on the entire card, I'll be honest. They were kind of scrapping in moments, but it was very ugly scrapping, you know what I mean? Like, Kimbo Slice, Dada 5000 type shit, like very underwater Super Mario level, slow, sloppy striking, nothing getting done, no damage, just kind of landing jabs on one another. And I'm very disappointed with both of them, because now Abus Magomedov is ranked at middleweight. And Michel Pereira, is now going to be unranked after running through the division for the most part, through the unranked parts of the division. Abus Magomedov's ranked. He's going to probably fight fucking, like, he might get like a Vettori Brennan Allen fight next, unless they fight each other. Then he'll probably fight like Roman Kopylov, which I think Roman Kopylov would beat Abus Magomedov. That fight, literally, all it shows me is that both of them are still, like, their gas tanks are still horrible to the day, which disappoints me, because I would think that Abus and Michel would improve it. But Michel looked gassed after the first round. Swear to God. He looked gassed after the first round and was just, like, throwing to throw. He He didn't even throw anything in the first round and he looked tired. Like, bro, he does choreography dances to get into the cage. Maybe that's what's gassing him out, is dancing so much. Or, hear me out, don't put on fat. Like, he's not putting on, like, a lot of muscle at middleweight. He's kind of just, like, bloat maxing now. It's pissing me off. Because Michel, when he first got up here, you know, the size was working to his advantage. He needs to now get cut up a little bit. Get cut up. Get the cardio back up there. You know what I mean? Because now you're looking like shit against Abus Magomedov, which is a fight you should win. He should have beat Abus Magomedov. Abus Magomedov is not that good. He really isn't. His cardio is worse than Michel Pereira. Not worse, but, like, it's still pretty bad. And Abus, he, like, shuts down in moments. Like, he kind of just, like, falters backward and is like, don't hit me anymore. Like, Michel should have won, but he just didn't. He just kind of, like, allowed himself to lose, in a way. Which makes me disappointed even more. Because, like, you could have won, but you just didn't. Yeah, very disappointing performance from Michel Pereira. Abus, you're ranked now. Have fun losing to the tops of the division. We move to Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. Probably the most entertaining fight on the entire card. It had probably the best moment of the entire card. Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby. Round 1, Randy Brown doing his thing, striking at range, doing it very well. Nicholas trying to force his way in. Gets his nose shattered at one point in the first round. It looked like fucking Mike Perry versus fucking... Who the fuck busted his nose really? They said it on the broadcast. I forget exactly who he got it done by, but... Dude, he got his nose fucking shattered by Randy Brown. But then at the end of the round, Nicholas drops Randy Brown with like a left hook on the temple, and Randy goes down, and then Nicholas kind of smudges him on the ground for the rest of the round. So round 1 kind of just turns into like a, what do you score more, the broken nose and like the more visible damage or the knockdown? I went with the more visible damage than the knockdown, because it wasn't like a, oh, he's out cold, and then like when he lands, he hits the ground, he wakes back up. It was very like a, it was like a Randy Brown knockdown, you know what I mean? Like where he just gets clipped and kind of falls over, because he's very weird. His chin is very weird. Round 2, they just start fucking slugging in the pocket with each other. Randy Brown at one point kind of just like shelters him up against the fence, feints an uppercut, and then goes over the top of the right hand and clobbers Nicholas. Nicholas just starts going turbo and just starts going like, ugh, just starts throwing wild shots because he's like, I'm getting close to getting finished. I need to find something of my own. Randy Brown, instead of finding range, just starts exchanging in the pocket. Watching it live, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? He's going to get himself chinned. Randy Brown turns into fucking Max Blessed Holloway and throws a left hook, uppercut, left hook again, and Nicholas Dalby literally face plants like Justin Gaethje. Out cold. Randy Brown celebrating and shit. It was so fucking cool. The main card had some of the better moments of the card, but it also had some of the worst moments as well. You get what I mean? The finishes were really fucking cool on this card. There were a lot of them. Randy Brown, great win. I think at this point, excluding the Brian Battle loss, which was very close, and you could definitely argue for Randy Brown. Dude, Randy Brown is, since the Jack Della Maddalena fight, I think he's 4-1 with 3 finishes. Randy Brown's turning it up. He's turning it up. I think you could really argue for Randy Brown versus, like, I mean, I think Michael Venom Page would be very cool. I think that also would be a matchup you could throw on a pay-per-view. I think enough people know Randy Brown to kind of be like, oh, he's kind of cool. Maybe. No, Carlos is probably going to get a fight up next. They love the fighting nerds. Or, like, you do, like, him versus Chidi and Njokuani. 2 tall, rangy welterweights with finishing potential out the wazoo fighting. I think that fight would be fucking incredible. There's a lot of matchups you can do with Randy Brown to either get him into the rankings or set him up for a shot at the rankings, because I think we do need to take into mind that Randy Brown did lose to Brian Battle just 2 fights ago. Even though it was, a lot of people claim, a robbery. Very competitive fight. I can see why people scored for Randy Brown. I think I scored it for Randy Brown, if I'm being totally honest with you. But he did lose. Like, he has a loss recently, so I think we need to take that into account. Still a great win. We move to Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. Yeah, Andre really didn't do anything in this fight. He was backing up almost the whole time. Ikram was doing his standard doodle bob, very like kind of all over the place kind of striking, where his arms are like always bouncing and his like legs are like very like straight up, and he's kind of just like walking people down. Landed the better shots, obviously. Ended up finding a left hook on the temple of Andre Muniz, got a delayed knockdown, and then subsequent follow-up shot knockout. Very good win for Ikram Aliskerov. Hasn't fought since the Robert Whittaker fight, of course. 3-1 in the UFC now, 3 finishes, all 3 of those in the first round. Very brutal finishes as well. Andre was like out after the ground and pound. Ikram, at this point in his career, you could argue that he deserves like a Michel Pereira matchup next, right? You could argue that, or you could even go one step further, maybe make Ikram versus, if the Paulo Costa Roman Kopylov fight is the fight that's next, maybe the loser of that, especially if it's Paulo Costa, rebook that matchup. You know what I mean? Because Ikram and Paulo were supposed to fight at 291, fight fell through. It is what it is. You could definitely like make that fight now, because Paulo seemingly is just tumbling down the rankings. Great win for Ikram Aliskerov. Looked decent, looked pretty solid, looked very patient and accurate with his shots on the feet. Andre Muniz really did nothing in this fight, kind of just allowed the fight to play out however he thought it would. Backing up, not really throwing anything with conviction. Just kind of allowed himself to get backed up and then get subsequently knocked out. So I think he shot one takedown. Ikram stuffed it and ended up going for one of his own. It doesn't say that he did, but he did go for like a trip in the cage. Good win. We move to Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. Dude, when I tell you I was so pissed off at this fight, because I really thought that Matt Schnell was going to fucking lose to Jimmy Flick. I really thought it was about to happen. Matt Schnell lost the first round via takedowns. Jimmy Flick's grappling, for a guy who's so mediocre at fighting, like a guy, he's so average everywhere, his grappling for flyweight is actually really fucking good. Very good. Very tight, compact control on the ground. But man, he kind of allowed this fight to slip away from him. End of round 2, Jimmy Flick was kind of just like on the feet, very bad. He's so bad on the feet. Round 2, he gets a takedown almost immediately. And I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy's about to fucking beat Matt Schnell. Like, I can't fucking believe this. Matt Schnell reverses position, ends up winning the round with the ground and pound. Round 3, literally like the same thing. But then Jimmy Flick gets tired, isn't able to scramble as well as he was earlier in the fight, ends up losing. Matt Schnell, not the performance I wanted. I wanted him to get a knockout, because Jimmy Flick isn't good. Like, on the feet, he is terrible. On the ground is a different story. That's like his whole thing is his grappling. Some people were picking Jimmy Flick by fucking TKO. I can't fucking believe that, honestly. He did come close with some up kicks, though. Besides that, he did fuck all on the feet. His whole fight was on the ground. But Matt Schnell ends up finding the win. Good for him. We move to Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Pretty average, kind of like unranked lightweight slugfest. Neither of them really got any takedowns. Evan Elder shot a couple, and he ended up getting like reversed, and then finding his way back to the feet. Evan Elder's good, man. He's actually pretty good. Gage Young, probably just a guy they're gonna look to sign for short notice fights in the future. Evan Elder clearly won rounds 1 and 2. Round 3 was close. That's when Gage Young actually did probably some of his better work. I think I gave the third to Gage Young. Excuse me. Round 1 and like just Evan Elder on the feet, landing his better kicks of the fight. His switch kick to the body was working like a charm. He was throwing it to the head as well. Gage Young, very defensively sound. Even though he did get hit a lot, seemingly, like he didn't get hit flush a lot. He actually was very, like, his boxing, like I said, was very good. In the latter half of the round, like round 3, he actually started to find his best shots of the fight, pushing Evan Elder against the fence, kind of landing. Evan Elder started retreating a lot in the third. Gage Young, you know, maybe he does have a future. Maybe he does have a future in the UFC. I imagine they're going to keep him around. He had a decently entertaining fight as well. The crowd liked him as well. Probably one of the underrated fights on the card was this fight. It played out probably exactly how I thought it would. Kind of striking on the feet, like just, kind of slugging it out. Evan Elder getting the better of some of the exchanges because he does have a better kicking resume than Gage Young. He's got a deeper bag, if you will. Gage Young, very, not one-dimensional, because he did throw some kicks, but he threw like so little that you don't even really remember them. He threw so little that not that you don't remember. He threw so little like kicks that you remember every one of them. He threw like a head kick in like round 3, and it landed. Yeah, decent fight. I have another one. We move to Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Dude, this fight was really close, man. This fight was really close. Chris won the first round because he dropped John Castaneda like pretty bad. Round 2 was very close, and round 3, like, you can make an argument John won this fight. I gave round 2 to Chris Gutierrez and round 1. Round 3 was very clearly John Castaneda, and round 2 was really close as well. These two are very close rounds. Yeah, they're both pretty mid bantamweights. But I think Chris Gutierrez was less mid in this fight. He definitely had the better shot selection of the fight. And honestly, round 1 was going John Castaneda until the knockdown. Which I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Is Chris about to lose to fucking John Castaneda? Yeah, it was a traditional Chris Gutierrez. Low kicking for the most part. Landing a couple head kicks. It is what it is. We move to Damon Blackshear versus Alatong Lee. Great performance from Damon Blackshear. Alatong Lee actually had some of his better moments in the latter half of the fight. For a guy like Damon didn't shoot any takedowns. He just beat Alatong on the feet. Using range, using a jab, using teeps to the body, low kicks as well. Murdered the lead leg of Alatong Lee because he doesn't know how to really check low kicks. He checked like 2. Damon kind of just piecing him up on the feet. Doing his best work. With a jab, teep to the body, front kick, just kind of out pointing and outdoing Alatong Lee. You can see that he threw fucking like 84 more strikes than fucking Alatong Lee, and outlanded him. He doubled him up on strikes significantly and totally. Yeah, Damon just looked really good. Looked very good. His striking looked way better in this fight. His defense really stood out to me. He looked way better than he did against Cody Gibson, and I love seeing that. His hands were right back to his face. That's something that you don't see a lot of MMA fighters do, which pisses me off, is that their resetting position for their hands is usually really low. Because a lot of them have lower guards, but those guys, like Damon Blackshear is like a higher guard. He brought his hands right back to his face in like pocket exchanges. I love seeing that because Alatong Lee does hit hard. So, great win for Damon Blackshear. Alatong Lee, underrated in the UFC. I think he's now 5-3. He was 5-2. Damon, I don't really know who you book him against now. He's 3-0 in his last 3, but he did get shinned by Montel Jackson. Because bantamweight's so deep of a division, you know what I mean? Like, unranked-wise, it has, like, a lot of killers. You could do Damon versus the loser of Daniel Marcos, Montel Jackson, or you could do Damon Blackshear versus, like, a Vinicius Oliveira or a Peyton Talbot, depending on if they win their next fights. Because Damon is really active right now, and I love seeing that. So, rack them up. Just keep racking them up. We move to Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. Oh, no. Cameron is just... This one hurt. I picked Malcolm Wellmaker to KO him in the first round. I think I said with like a right or left hook as well. Cameron, he got slept pretty bad. The worst part about it is that he was looking good up to that point. Like, he was looking really solid. You know, jabbing away, landing good low kicks. Malcolm really didn't check any of the low kicks. He kind of allowed him to happen because he was trying to stalk Cameron down. Cameron lunged in once and got chinned for it. Like, he lunged in with a right hook once and got fucking knocked out for it. I think Cameron Simon is an unfortunate case of matchmaking and also just having a style that against the sharpshooters and harder hitters of bantamweight just doesn't work. And his chin is a problem as well. unfortunate matchmaking for Cameron. I think he probably gets cut. Honestly, he's 3-3 in the UFC now. 3 losses in a row. Maybe they keep him around for one more to see how he does. I think Cameron Simon should become a guy where they cut him, goes to the regional scene, let him go to South Africa, try and get some wins in Pretoria. I forget what fight league is in South Africa. I forget what it is. Let him go back there, get some more fights, because he is 24 years old. I think people always forget that about Cameron because he's been in the UFC for like 3 years. He is super young for a fighter. Let him get some muscle on him as well. Let him maybe move down to flyweight. Maybe. I think he'd be a killer at flyweight. You know what I mean? Because he is kind of like but then like he'd become more chinny because he'd be more dehydrated. Dude, Cameron's a weird case. I don't know what you do with him. I don't know what you do with him career-wise. I'm sad. I feel bad for Cameron. I love Cameron. I like Cameron a lot. He's a very cool fighter. Dude, he got flatlined by Malcolm. Malcolm's a guy that everyone needs to look out for. I really wanted to put him in my prospect tier list. Not tier list, but like the top 10 prospects video. I had him in my list, but I had him X'd out because, I was still kind of wary of him. But now, dude, that performance, like, even then, like, Cameron was looking good. Malcolm was just, like, very patient, very calm, very collected. And he ended up chinning Cameron Simon. So, we move to Jacqueline Amarim versus Polyana Viana. Went exactly as I thought it would. Jacqueline taking her down almost immediately and then finding the sub. It went to round 2. Jacqueline took her down almost immediately as well. Found the sub, got the rear naked. Poly Viana is attractive. She just isn't good at fighting. Jacqueline Amarim now is at 4-1 in the UFC. I want to say it's 4-1, right? She lost to Sam Hughes. Wrapped off 4 wins in a row, all by finish. 3 submission wins in a row. She beat the shit out of Caneo Ruiz. These are really good wins, man. Those are all really good wins. Not really good, but like you get what I'm saying. Like those are good wins. Like she's beating them how she should if she's going to become something. So good win for Jacqueline Emery, especially as a -800. We move to Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. Roberto is just a Felipe Dos Santos in disguise, isn't he? I think he won the first round. I think the first round was, even though the striking numbers say it wasn't really that close, I think Timmy Kwamba actually really landed some solid shots in the first round, but Roberto just kind of out-volumed him. Round 2, Timmy Kwamba just started firing off. Roberto's defense started lacking. He ended up getting chinned with a flying knee. Great win for Timmy Kwamba. Showed out, looked good. Roberto Romero is just a Felipe Dos Santos in disguise. He really is. 8-5 now. Yuck. Timmy Kwamba showed out, had a good performance. Round 1 dropped it. Round 2 started firing off his straight lefts down the pipe. His jab, his 1-2, landing really well. His flying knee KO'd him. Got a flying knee, super big highlight for his resume. Timmy Kwamba probably gets re-signed after that. Very fun fighter. When he can get going, if he's not, like, even the Lucas Almeida fight, even though he didn't win, it was entertaining because he was getting worked. Roberto Romero, they keep him around for maybe one more fight, I think, maybe. Timmy Kwamba, I don't know who you book him against next. Featherweight's kind of weird. Maybe you do him versus who's like a featherweight that's like kind of mid. Maybe him versus like Weston Wilson, maybe, who's also 1-2 in the UFC. Who's another featherweight? Is Shailen Nurmabeki still signed? I think that'd be a really cool fight. Him versus Shailen Nurmabeki if he's still signed. Make one of those 2 fights. We move to Chelsea Chandler, or the start of the whole card. Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. Chelsea Chandler is dog shit. Jocelyn Edwards beat the shit out of her and ended up finding a finish. Chelsea just backed up the entire time. Jocelyn caught her. Ended up finding the chin, right hand, set her down, ended up finding the finish. Very good win for Jocelyn Edwards. That's, 3 in a row now for her? With finishes in a couple of them? Yeah, 3 in a row, 2 finishes. She did get beat by Eileen Perez. I forgot about that. 2 in a row, 2 by finish. She's back, baby. You could probably do her versus, like, a Nora Cornola rematch. I don't know, something like that. UFC Kansas City. Very fun card. A lot of finishes. Started out with 4 finishes, and then 4 decisions, and then a finish, and then wait a little bit, and then a finish. So yeah, 7 finishes and 14 fights. Pretty good. The main event didn't play out how I thought it would, entertainment-wise, but still, decent fight. Zhang in the top 15. David Onama top 15. Abos Magomedov top 15. A lot of ranking changes, a lot of guys to look out for. Malcolm Woolmaker comes to mind. Jacqueline Amarim, very cool finish. Jocelyn Edwards becomes ranked now. Should be number 14. But yeah, a lot of fun guys on this card. Very fun card. Next weekend we got Des Moines with Corey Sandhagen versus Davis and Figueiredo. I'll try and get an upload for you guys out this week. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it'll be... I've been trying to make a video about my worst and best takes recently. I'll try and figure out what to do. But, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.